So this lesson is how I do my top-down analysis using time-based Power 3, how I use time-based Power 3 in my top-down analysis to find my drawn liquidity, and I'll also cover some quote-unquote secrets I found with standard deviation as I've used them, collected data on them, and whatever. This lesson is recorded in Vincere Amore by Fear. So, as covered in our previous video, we need to start thinking about every single candle, each time frame, as open, low, high, close, and open, high, low, close. The opening price of every significant candle can be used in a Power 3 concept. If you're expecting higher prices, we look for key levels below opening price, and vice versa for if we're expecting lower prices. Confirmation for every reversal is SMT. So, generally, a bullish example will look something like this. Time opening, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. We utilize standard deviation to show us potential areas to target and I trade. And here's a bearish example. But yeah, the key to understanding everything is to understand every single Power 3. This means if we are trading 60-minute, 90-minute, 4-hour Power 3s and figure out your drawn liquidity, we need to start with our highest time frame. To me, the highest time frame that I look at is the quarterly Power 3, the 3-month candle. Now, I'm not looking at the 3-month chart. I'm looking at the daily/weekly and looking how we can utilize it in a Power 3 concept. So, once we understand where the quarterly Power 3 is heading, whether we are in the accumulation phase, the manipulation phase, or distribution phase, following the quarterly Power 3, we drop down to the monthly Power 3. Based off the quarterly Power 3, we can understand the monthly Power 3. Once we understand where the monthly Power 3 is heading, then that's where we can figure out where our weekly Power 3 is heading. We do this by looking at where we are relative to the development of the monthly Power 3. Following the monthly, we can get into the weekly Power 3. No, apologies. Once we understand where the weekly Power 3 is heading, then we can understand where the daily Power 3 is heading. And once we get a little bit lower, I'll cover exactly what I look for, give you guys an example and all that, and show you guys what I do at the beginning of each week. And obviously, we're not going to know exactly where each day is heading, but we can anticipate that based off stuff such as the economic calendar, weekly profiles, etc. And, I can keep going, but let's just say that our daily Power 3 our weekly Power 3 is bullish. We're trading our highest probability day, which is going to be our distribution days, which are our buy-sell days. So, in a bullish example, we'd be looking for 10 a.m. opening, manipulation down, potentially leaving a devil's mark, such as this example. And let's say we're bullish on the daily Power 3, then we could be looking at, for our opening, manipulation down, and something like this. Manipulation down, higher time frame PDRA, SMT, and so on. So, now let's get into the main thing, showing how we are going to anticipate our Power 3s. So, oops. All right, 1 second. I'm gonna have to go to Notion. All right. So, I just kind of quickly want to show you guys what's on here. So, let's go into replay mode. So, quarterly open, immediate SMT the highs, accumulation, immediate move lower below opening price. What? I'm going to quickly ask, what is significant about this open? What can we consider that? We can, while this is not a perfect example of a devil's mark, we have to think logically. What is the significance of a devil's mark? It is not just no wick on the candle. It's generally a lack of significance in the manipulation. So in reference to the quarterly power 3, do we really think that our quarterly candle is only going to manipulate 114 points to send us thousands of points lower? No, probably not. Let's quickly reference previous quarter. Prior to having a bullish quarterly power 3, we first manipulated lower. How much did we manipulate? Around 700 points. No, it's not an exact number, but it's about, you know what I mean. Yep, I seen that. Sorry. So, now, another question. This is going to be something that you really need to take into consideration when drawing your standard deviations. So let's look here at this example. So I want you to quickly think about, why do we think that price respected this standard deviation leg, this first expansion leg, / this manipulation leg? They both are equally as valid. -2, -2.5, -2. Whereas this manipulation leg from all-time highs, you might think, hey, this is the highest manipulation leg, it's the most clear. Why would we not come down and respect it? We have sell side right here. It is because we need to understand each power 3 has limited energy, and standard deviation is going to be what shows us limits. So wouldn't it be logical to only use standard deviation, or wouldn't it be logical to only use legs for standard deviation projections within the power 3 we're using? So the reason that this one was not respected is because we are only looking at legs within the power 3 we are trading. So with this quarterly power 3, we're looking at legs within starting pat here, April 1st. Whereas this one was in the previous quarter. You see what I mean? You could also argue, due to the SMT, that is the reason we didn't reach down here, but you know what I'm saying. Alright, so now moving into the monthly power 3. We understand the quarterly open. We manipulated higher to send us lower in reference to, okay, so what else opens up at this quarterly open? A monthly open. A new quarterly open is a new monthly open, a new weekly open, a new daily open. So in reality, while this SMT is really shooting us down in reference to a bearish monthly power 3, in reality, that bearish monthly power 3 is setting up for a bullish quarterly power 3. We can take this into our daily power 3s, where we might have a bearish 4-hour power 3. In reality, that's setting up for a bullish daily power 3, and also even lower, a bearish. So when 2 p.m., let's just say when 10 a.m. opens, what else opens at 10 a.m.? 4-hour candle, 60-minute candle, 30-minute, 15-minute, etc. So the first 60 minutes might be used as manipulation. So we might have a bearish 60-minute power 3 from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. In reality, that's setting up for a bullish 4 at power 3. So here, monthly open, immediate move lower, SMT. Following that, expansion higher. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, isn't this the exact same as here? Yes. I want you to quickly think about, why does price only need to manipulate so little to expand so much higher? I'll give you a few seconds. You can pause the video, whatever. Let's think logically. Let's look at what price has already done. We already, in reference to the quarterly power 3, we already had accumulation and manipulation. We already took all of our objectives, our IPDA 20, IPDA 40, and IPDA 60. Obviously, at this point in price, we're already past that, but as price went lower, that's what we were hitting. We already hit all of our IPDA objectives. What else? SMT at the quarterly low. Something I see so many power 3 traders, and when I say so many, I mean so many advanced power 3 traders. So someone like Dexter, you always see them talk about in their tweets the significance of SMT at the previous week high and low, the previous month high and low, the previous daily high and low, 4-hour high and low. There is significance to that. So if price already reached all of our IPDA targets, we saw SMT at the previous quarter low, there's nowhere else for us to manipulate really. But we need to understand that we need to quickly understand, what is SMT? SMT is a confirmation for every single reversal. So if a new power 3 opens, we need SMT to shoot us higher. We can almost say price algorithmically, quote unquote, set up a swing low right before the new monthly open so that we can still have SMT to shoot us higher. Because we already reached all our targets, there's no reason for us to come down here. And then, we can think a little bit more basically. What is stronger, our quarterly power 3 or our monthly power 3? Probably our monthly power 3. And then we can see how price has delivered so far since then. And then here we are now. So next we'll be diving into our weekly, daily, and 4-hour power 3. So I'm not gonna go off the Notion. This is all taken from private part of the server. So let's get into the weekly power 3. So how do we anticipate our weekly power 3? What do you guys think the first thing I do at the start of each week is? First and foremost, I look at where we are in reference to the development of the monthly and quarterly power 3, which we just covered. Next, we look at our, actually I'll just read this off top to bottom. But step 1, identify where the end of the manipulation will be. We do that by looking at current market structure, looking at your monthly, weekly time frame, power 3s, etc. Step 2, anticipated future SMT. The start and end of every power 3 phase, there's an SMT. That is the biggest and most important thing you need to look at. So the example we're going to be looking at when I made this channel is going to be April 7th to April 13th. So the first step I do, or technically second, is look at our economic calendar. We look at our economic calendar, let's look here. We have to think about what days, so in reference to power 3, what days do we think is going to be each AMD? So we see Monday, Tuesday, no news, absolutely nothing. I only look at orange folder and red folder, nothing here. Something significant to note is this is following an NFP, which was the previous Friday. So immediately we can think, okay, Monday is going to be immediate accumulation. No point in trading that. Tuesday, good chances also going to be accumulation. No news. We're following one of the most high impact news, which is CPI, and also FOMC minutes. Not as high impact, but with those on the same day, we're not exactly going to anticipate expansion the day before. We could potentially see small manipulation, but realistically, based off the rest of the week, Wednesday is going to be a manipulation. Then Thursday, what's going to follow are manipulation plus SMT is going to be distribution on the Thursday. And then in reference to quarterly theory, if what we saw here is correct, usually Friday is either a continuation or a reversal. So we could potentially see Friday to be expansion, potentially a reversal. And so now next we're going to be applying that to our charts. And this was all posted in my Fear Alerts channel at the start of the week. So Monday, Tuesday, I anticipated accumulation, and obviously you can see as there's still timer here, it was all posted beforehand. Anticipate Monday, Tuesday accumulation, Wednesday manipulation. What do we see here? Equal lows. While there is SMT here, there was lack of SMT here. And on the opposite end, we see price stack up, low resistance liquidity as a potential target for our distribution day. So now we're going to be going into our chart. All right, so following our weekly power 3, and let's go back to that day. Okay, so let's do a little bit of imagination. Let's imagine that we're a trader, a professional trader who's been trading the last decade. At that point, we're profitable for so long. We're not trading every single day. We're only looking to trade our most significant days, our most high probability days. And what do you think, which day is that going to be? It's likely going to be our distribution day, which we are going to anticipate to be Thursday. So if we're just looking to trade one day a week, let's think realistically, 50 to 100 minis is what we're going to be looking at trading. Obviously, we're going to be looking at, if we are a professional, we're still going to be looking at, 15-minute, 1 hour chart, seeing how price develops in reference to our weekly power 3 outlook. So we see, okay, weekly open, Monday accumulation, okay, as anticipated. Tuesday open, same thing, a little bit more. This would be considered seek and destroy day. Going from low to high, to low to high. No real expansion, but it's still accumulation. So as anticipated so far, Wednesday open, overnight accumulation. So this is a bearish daily power 3, which sets up for the manipulation for a bullish weekly power 3. So this is development so far. And for reference, there was SMT of these lows. Sure, that looks like equal lows that we might sweep again. But we can also think that price is going to be leaving that for potentially later. Let's remember the quarterly power 3. Right now we're in the accumulation phase of the quarterly power 3. We are not manipulating lower. This is purposefully put in so the price can come back later. But that's not what we're focusing on. We're focusing on the weekly power 3. Because we're in the accumulation phase, we're not really expecting lower prices or higher prices just yet. So, daily power 3. So let's mark it out. Nice. Daily open. Just kind of see how we move. Alright, so nothing crazy. Overnight accumulation. So quickly before we move anything else, quickly let's reference. Okay, so with our daily power 3, we can think very basically. We usually anticipate Asian accumulation, London manipulation, New York distribution. So starting with our weekly, we've seen accumulation, manipulation, SMT confirmation. Now with our daily power 3, with it being our anticipated distribution day, our buy day, we are looking for Asian accumulation, London manipulation. For those who don't know, or it's just not on the top of your head, 8:30 is still London session. London doesn't end until noon, but I generally consider anything before 9:30 London. Usually when there's high impact news at 8:30, price waits to manipulate until then, especially if it's something like PPI or CPI, but all these together. So so actually before we go there, on the other end, we understand that, let's reference our quarterly power 3. Let's reference where we already manipulated to. We already manipulated, reached our target. Let's reference previous quarter high and low, looked for SMT. Now we're looking for previous day high and low. So you have to take my word here. There was SMT here. There's SMT at this low. So overnight accumulation, London manipulation. We saw 8:30 news immediately drop us, form SMT, followed by immediate reversal, aka setting up for our bullish daily power 3. So now that we see this, we see overnight accumulation, we see London manipulation. Now New York is setting up for distribution. That's what our daily power 3 is looking like. So let's get here, 9:45. So if you are only looking to trade your 4-hour power 3s, which I highly recommend, what do we look for? We look for, if our daily power 3 is bullish. Okay, actually, before I go any further, we need to understand. So anticipating our 4-hour power 3s. Our high probability 4-hour power 3s are simply a continuation of what our daily power 3 is. Our daily power 3s are only a continuation of our weekly power 3s. Our weekly power 3s are a continuation of our monthly power 3s. Our monthly power 3s are a continuation of our quarterly power 3s. You see what I'm saying? You see the examples I've been showing? Is it starting to make sense? I hope so. So, let's look here. So, since we understand fractal nature, we understand. So let's reference our quarterly power 3 again. Accumulation, manipulation, displacement, setting up for the distribution phase. We have the high impact news as a catalyst to set up for the distribution phase. And so what do we see here? Prior to 10 a.m. opening, we saw displacement up. What are we looking for at 10 a.m. opening? Manipulation into a higher time frame PD array. Following that, we want to see SMT again, because SMT is a confirmation for reversal for every single one of our power 3s. So here we see a 15-minute unmitigated BISI, as well as a 15-minute breaker, as seen here. These two up close candles. Even if we just look at that one, it's still valid. Now, with standard deviation, what do we see here? So we understand, based off what I said earlier, each power 3 has limited energy. Standard deviation shows us the limits. So with our 15-minute power 3, my bad. With our daily power 3, we're usually looking at our 15-minute. Yeah, almost always we're using our 15-minute chart, especially for our distribution days. For our accumulation days, even manipulation days, we can sometimes use the 5-minute, but usually 15 minutes most consistent with the daily. With our weekly, we're looking at 1 hour / 4 hour. Little FYI. So, 15-minute BISI, 15-minute breaker. Quickly, another standard deviation question. What is significant about where price is right now at the 10 a.m. opening? -1, -1.5. What is that? That's our silver bullet zone. We look for retracements and entries within here. There's two ways to use it. Well, at least there's two ways that I use it. For retracements, looking for retracements in here, and looking for entries. So the first example, we see, okay, 10 a.m. opening inside the silver bullet zone with a clear target. Okay, we can anticipate 10 a.m. opening to manipulate lower, manipulate into here. And once we're within here, we're looking for SMT, displacement, change in state delivery, / shift on market structure, and then potentially, well, most commonly, a 2022 buy model for this example. So, since if I go down to the 1-minute chart, it's going to mess up my screen. I'll just show you guys here. Oh, and before I do that, instead of TPs, let's look what's within here and quickly reference our earlier example. We'll look to partial within -2, -2.5. Look for high time frame PD array or buy side. And then -4 is our ultimate target. Quick question. Quick question. What is significant about -4? Quickly think about it. It's our max expansion. Max expansion in reference to the power 3 we're using. So we will look to partial within here. We see, okay, this CPI candle, this CPI fair value gap, we could see it be filled if it reaches -2.5. We also see the weekly open within here. So we can look to partial at the weekly open at -2. So now we're looking for 10 a.m. opening, manipulation into here. Now let's see here. This is the exact same example. 10 a.m. opening, manipulation down. I have OTE drawn. We also reached, well, let me just show you. So 10 a.m. opening, manipulation down, reaches daily open, reaches a 50-minute breaker for value gap. I draw out OT. Special way to draw it, I'm not going to cover that in this video. But what else is significant about this 10 a.m. opening? I'll give you a few seconds. Reference what we talked about earlier with a quarterly candle. There's no manipulation here. This is our devil's mark. Again, it doesn't matter if there's a wick or not. There's no significance to where price went to. Doesn't matter if there's SMT beforehand. We still should have seen manipulation at least to here. These equal highs. At least seen SMT here and price run them. If we're going to set up for a bearish, 60-minute or 4-hour power 3. But instead, price leaves the devil's mark, manipulates down into our PD array. What else do we want to see? Displace SMT. Oh yeah. Another thing is there's SMT at this low, which again, you're gonna have to take my word for it. You can look back in your chart, find it yourself. But SMT, displacement, changes day delivery, which happens after, but shift the market structure with displacement, 2022 buy model. What is significant about this trade? This was actually taken in our live trading call, which you can find scrolling through here, the trade review. You can scroll back to April 11th. So that's what we look at. Obviously here we sold at the 10 a.m. opening and at this buy side level. But so let's go back to what we said we were imagining. We're imagining we're a professional trader who's been doing this for a decade. We're trading heavy size. So let's imagine we took that entry. We took that entry here. But we're a far more experienced trader. We've been in this market for a long time. We're trading, only the 15-minute or whatever. We'd be looking at TPing here. So let's see how price plays out. All right, quick question. Let's see if you have a good memory and if you've been taking notes. I said there's two ways to use the silver bullet zone. I said the first way is to use it for a retracement. Second way is what? An entry. We're not just looking for price to come above and go back in. No, we need to see PD array. So we see price displace above, form a 15-minute BISI, comes back into it. This can be used, let's say we miss our entry down here. We could have entered here as well, be just as safe. So let's imagine, we are that professional trader. Our full size is 100 minis. We see something like this, an A+ setup. We could look to add in there. And then we're still looking to trim here. Nothing going against us yet. And then boom, strong, huge displacement at 1 o'clock. Pretty sure there was actually news. Yeah, 30-year bond action there. We can see how price sets up beforehand. But let's imagine we did trim down here. Obviously I can't really do that in replay mode, but let's imagine we did trim down here or at the weekly open. So price strongly displaces above -2.5. When we see something like this, we anticipate -4 and even -3.5. Let's actually look at what aligns with this. So -3.5, -4 lines up with the CPI high. A CPI high is liquidity on liquidity. We have a lot of built up liquidity there. We also have unmitigated cities here, which we can target at -4. And so just keep going. Strong displacement above, price holds above. We're pretty confident here. We would expect price to run up here. All right, so price reaches -3.5. The CPI high. Another thing with standard deviation, it's not just the projections. It's the PD arrays, the liquidity that aligns with them that holds importance. So boom, you see here. This is 2:30. Let's go to 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock, look up price. Comes up, reaches -4. What is -4? Max expansion. We don't expand higher than that. Sure, we have a few ticks, but price generally holds it. We don't see higher than that. So that is the power of daily power 3. Identifying the daily power 3 by looking at where we are in the development of the weekly power 3. And using the 4 power 3 to play with the daily power 3. And this is the chart of that day. Boom. Absolutely beautiful day. We very rarely see delivery like this, but if you're that professional trader just looking to trade 1 day a week, it's a day like this. So, all right, I suppose that's the end of the lesson. I'm gonna keep recording, answer any questions.